reading 6 hours daily, solving hundreds of past questions, finishing the syllabus, being part of the best tutorial. All of that will be trashed by the one reason I'm about to share with you in this video. And I'm sure you don't want that. You want you to have the best possible scores in Jamb 2024. Which is why I advise that you stick around to the end of this video, because I'm not just going to give you my framework for solving this one problem. I'm also going to give you 2 bonus tips on advancing the solutions that I'm going to give as this video moves on. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and hi if you're a new viewer. My name is David, and on this channel I share science-backed techniques and research-backed strategies that can help you achieve your best scores in terms of exam, in terms of grades, while doing that at record less time without sacrificing friends, family, and fun. Tell me if you have experienced this before in the comment section. You are writing an exam, you come across a question, you were not able to solve it, so your brain is actively trying to find a way to solve it, and when that is happening, you reach a stalemate and you can't solve it, so you leave the question. But because of that one question, you are trying to solve other questions and you can't solve them. So you give up and submit because your brain seems not to respond to you when you need it the most. And give it a day or 2 or 3, and you are in the shower or you are just walking down the street and the question pops in your mind back again. And when it pops in your mind back again, you visualize the question, and so you know the answer. You finally found the answer. And the thought that runs in my head is, why didn't this come during the exam? Because that's when it's useful. If it was just one question, no problem. But you know that there are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions like that you went through the same process. And I hate myself totally for not knowing this. But the reason is not to hate myself. I should be asking, why? Why does this situation happen? Well, to understand why, we have to look at the organ that will be used in answering the questions in the first place in Jamb 2024, which is our brain. And not the one going to answer those questions. It's your brain that's doing the manpower in answering those questions. Whenever we learn something new, like going through respiratory system for the first time from our textbook, our sensory organs, especially our eyes, interpret all those jargons into letters and then into words and then into passages, and it takes all that and loads it into the short-term memory. And we make sense of the information like the passage of air through our lungs, through the working memory. This is where the main deal is. So we are done studying and we use the right techniques. The passage on respiration is then taken and stored in the long-term memory, so that whenever we have exams or tests or we need to retrieve that information, we can answer the question. And in retrieving that information, the cycle has to continue. The gas we breathe has to come from long-term into the working memory, and our sensory memory can then click the right answer by the time you are answering the question in Jamb 2024. It's our working memory that we use to answer questions by the time we come into the exam. Now that we know that, what's the one thing that can affect your working memory so much by as much as 50% as shown by the research? Meaning that if you have 180 questions in Jamb, for example, and probably you were to get 120 right, what's the one thing that can take that 120 and drop it drastically to 60? And that one thing is fear and anxiety. So you are stressed before an exam, even before seeing the question, you're already afraid. You see the question, that trips you off. Now, the cognitive energy your brain is used to meant to solve that question is then used to calm your body down. Low cognitive energy equals a lower working memory. A lower working memory means we wouldn't be able to answer the question with face, and then lower scores. Well, I have a 3-stage process I use for every exam that has helped me remain calm before and even during the exam. What are your thoughts about the current exam, Jamb 2024, that you are preparing for, that you want to right now? Pause this video if you have to. What is the one emotion behind all of your preparation and all of your thoughts? Fear, right? That is what everybody has, and this is because we have about 65,000 thoughts per day, and 85% of those thoughts are negative, meaning that almost all the thoughts that you have had about the Jamb exam that you want to write is negative. You don't want that heading into the exam feeling like you are a failure. Then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because all you have reasoned about this exam is, what if I fail? Here's what I want you to do. Don't just watch this video. I want you to do it. First, you want a silent place or time to sit or lie down and intentionally control your mind. Close your eyes and imagine what events will play out when the exam results are out and have the score that you so desire to have. And I advise that you go into details. How would you announce the score to your parents, to your friends? How are you going to celebrate yourselves? What emotions would flood your mind? And research has shown that our brain doesn't know the difference between an imagination and a real event. So what you are doing is countering the fear imagination with a positive imagination, because your brain doesn't know the difference. If it is positive visioning that is done enough times and in very deep details, your brain goes into the exam hall believing it has succeeded already, because it believes it is a real event. And I have to say this, of course, this doesn't replace preparation, but preparation will be useless if you already feel like a failure. Writing exam is less about what you know when you are on the seat with the computer in front of you, but about your mental state at that moment. You see, whenever I went to exams before I knew this tip, I would be all positive vibes. I've taken my time to envision a specific experience when writing the exam. I get to the exam hall or the center and I hear a student ask a question, just randomly talking to their friends. I don't know it, and immediately all those positivity vanish. This is why I say go to your exam for yourself and not for another person. How many of those last minute brainstorming actually comes out in the exam? Let us be truthful to ourselves. When you get to the exam hall, stay by yourself if you have to. I love to have earpiece on, my eyes closed, so I'm not pressured by Yes, you would look weird and you would look like as if you are sad before writing the exam. But if being weird one day would get me my score, what the hell is my business with being weird? Essentially, I'm saying be protective of your mental space. At the point of writing the exam, they are totally anxious, and anxiety is quite contagious than even positivity, because our brain is naturally wired, like I said before, to be negative. 97.2% of those who watch this YouTube channel have not subscribed. And I know that this video has been helpful in preparing you for Jamb 2024 and other videos on the channel. Kindly hit the subscribe button. It will be a pleasure of mine to see this drop to like 85%. And as a thank you for subscribing, I promise to provide more free and valuable content that will help you prepare faster and learn more better, and your efficiency is achieved at the shortest period of. Let's head back to the video. You see, whenever we are anxious, our sympathetic nervous system is activated. Adrenaline, cortisol is pumped through our bloodstreams, and our brain natural response is the freeze or flight motion. And in terms of exam, our brain either shuts down or can't reason and answer when we see a question. But when we take deep breaths, we stimulate the vagus nerve, which then stimulates the parasympathetic response, the opposite of adrenaline, which is the fear or anxiety hormone. Acetylcholine is then released. I know you don't need to know these big words, but this makes us so relaxed. It's like blowing up a balloon and using a pin to burst. We can then have our working memory back, and recall is even faster, and then we can have the desired score that we want. I naturally do this before the exam, like when I'm seated on anytime that I feel stressed or I'm so worked up that I can't reason and answer anymore. So how do we do this? So this breathing system is actually called the 4-7-8 breathing system. It is used primarily for people who have panic attacks, but it has also shown to help with anxiety, with exams and preparation for exams by recent research in the learning science. So how do you do this? Breathe in through your nostrils, you count for 4 seconds, hold your breath, then breathe out through your mouth. Take 3 or 4 minutes of your exam and just skim through the questions. What you are trying to do is to try and load those difficult questions. Do not answer. Even if you know the answer, don't answer them. Those that you think you know the answer, don't answer them. Just load all the questions out into your working memory. So when you are answering those questions that you think you know the answer, your working memory is actively going through the long-term memory and trying to find out where were these questions can come from and try and find out the answers to those questions. And this has worked magically for me. There are several questions that at the beginning of the exam, when I skim through, I don't have an idea of what they are, but I'm going through the other questions that I think I know, and it sparks in my head that, oh, that question, this is the way to solve it. Then I can go back. And this is what is called the focus and diffused mode. So you have the diffused mode when you are solving questions that you know, and the focus mode when you are solving questions that you naturally don't know at the point of seeing them, but your working memory is going through the activity of trying to find out the answers. Thereby, you are reducing anxiety by the time you come across them, because you have a sense of what they should feel like. And peradventure, you don't know the answer to those questions, you can then probably guess. The last bonus tip I would give you is this: pray. The truth is this: no matter how well we prepare, and no matter how well we can optimize our brain and optimize our feelings, our emotions towards an end, the only person that can truly help us is, after I've done all that I could do, I've tried as much as possible to maintain a positive attitude, I've done the breathing technique, I've done the envisioning technique, I've skimmed through the questions, I can then ask God to help me, and I can ask that, help me with this exam, help me to have the best results that I truly want to have. And this is one advice that I believe is the king of all advices out there. We have come to an end for this video, and I know that you have found intensive value in this video. Kindly do me a favor, hit the like button if you have stayed this long. Also, if you are preparing for Jamb 2024 and you are still not grounded in what you should do in preparing for Jamb 2024, check out the video around your screen on how to prepare for Jamb 2024 in exactly 8 days. I went through it I would see you in that video.